never quit, we always keep on going. Quitters never win, but we're always growing. Hey there, big cat, let's chase the highest vibration. Together we'll create a new world, a brand new nation.
Namaste! Grand Rising, Big Cat. Welcome back to Frequency Phoenix 555 for your message or messages. Come in, come on. I've got intel. Recon is afoot. May your comings and goings be forever covered by the grace of the Most High. When in doubt, go within. Let's dive right in and unpack. It's a good shifting. Oh, you have the element of a 4, darling dear. Excuse me, civil play. I was looking at the 3. Okay. The energy of the 4, darling dears. It speaks about some kind of stability or structure, a new way of being that you're building. It speaks about you being in manifestation mode. It tells me that you are a natural born problem solver, darling dears. It's about stabilizing yourself, possibly for your prosperity, some form of success. But it's about you grounding yourself and being focused on what you want to achieve. Your mind could be on your finances, your physical body, investing in yourself, or possibly investing in a business or some form of real estate, darling dears. So it's about changing things up. You have the element of a 4, darling dears. You could be a life path 4 or 22. Or the element of the number 4 or 22 will be in your life prevalent over the next few days. You are a natural organizer. The energy of the 4 is 4, 13, 22 and 31. It's ruled by the letters D, M, V. It's also ruled by Uranus and the South Node. Uranus is Aquarius energy, so this is the 11th house, darling dears. The 11th house of other people's money coming towards you, people looking at how you get paid. It's about your hopes and your dreams, darling dears, dreams for the future. It's about your fans, if you've got a fan club, or maybe not, an audience, people watching you, darling dears. It's about your memberships to groups, communities that you join, your associations. It's also the energy of Uranus. Uranus is the planet of sudden change. It's very unpredictable at this moment in time. So there's a shock coming towards you, darling dears. Not a nasty shock. It's a nice shock. It's something that you wanted to change. Okay. The South Node speaks about your past life or your early years, darling dears. Things that you've corrected along the way. It speaks about the rebellion, darling dears. You was always a free spirit, but you was a free spirit at the wrong address. Okay. Your luckiest numbers will be the 3, 6 and 9. Your luckiest days will be Tuesday, Friday and Saturday. Avoid the numbers 1, 3, 5 and 9. Okay. The element of the 4 is supported by the astrological aspect of a square. So it's something that was extremely powerful that created the conflict. It was extremely frustrating for you, darling dears. Okay. It speaks of this new level of discipline that you've acquired. You've been very systematic in your approach. You are a natural born planner, darling dears. Yes, you are strategic. Yes. Organizer, all of the above, darling dears. It's about you creating some level of order, or you're going to create order by being of service to others. Okay. This is a stable foundation that you're building, whether it's an organization, a business, or you're starting out as an entrepreneur, darling dears. It's about you moving forward. This is about managing your stress as you move forward. The master number 22 says build it and they will come. So you're going to utilize your ability to build stable foundations, build an organization, or become entrepreneurial, or rise up within your business, darling dears. It speaks about you playing the long game, darling dears, putting your emotions to one side, because Aquarius is an air sign, darling dears. It's about you using logic. You've called judgment on many situations. The 11th house is also the releasing of friends in the 11th house, darling dears, putting down certain groups, certain ways that you used to do. People from the past, anyone that has to go is going to be gone. You're putting people on notice, whether you tell them or they can feel it in the air. Just like what's his name, Phil Collins. Yeah, push, clap. Okay, carrying on. The energy of the one is a reminder that you have a major decision to make, but you cannot or should not. Well, you're being pointed towards not making the decision until after the next new moon. 444 and the counter, darling dears. Good golly and gosh. This is about you mastering your faults, knowing that you're protected, knowing that the path you've chosen, darling dears, is the right path. This is you utilizing your 4D mind, calling things down from Ketha to Malkuth, darling dears. Somebody's shouting outside. Yeah, someone out there losing their shiznai, darling dears. But that's their business. Listen, I've got a video to make. Back to the VT. Try to take me off my gangster. Okay. All right. Where was I? Yeah, we've been through the life path numbers. Okay. The energy of the dice, darling dears. As I said, not until after the next new moon. You have the element of a 3. This is conflict and confusion. It's a nerve-wracking period for some. It may be even for you, darling dears, as you continue to build. Because what you're building, darling dears, I don't think you understand the enormity of what you're making, darling dears. The return you're going to get back from this. Why? Because you're going to be of service to others. Okay? Well, it's creating a lot of quarrels, a lot of discord. We've got the energy of the 3rd house, darling dears. Communication. It can represent siblings, family, outside family members, aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews. People paying attention to what you're doing, because we've got the energy of the 1. That's the self. It's all about you, darling dears. You're more self-aware, especially with your outward behavior, darling dears. This is a new beginning for you, darling dears. You're working on your health, building on your appearance, your vitality, maybe changing your appearance. The energy of the 1 also speaks about this has got something to do with your 1st house. Okay. 1st house and Uranus energy in the 1st house. Somebody tried to curb your tongue, darling dears. They didn't want you to be powerful in some kind of a way. Uranus energy also involves electricity, so you're doing something online, okay, whether on the TV, the phone, whatever, darling dears. Something to do with boats and asthma. Be careful if you've got asthma going on boats, darling dears. Make sure you've got all of the paraphernalia that you need. The energy of the 3rd house speaks about the learning that you've done, darling dears. Learn from many a mistake. Something again involving family, your siblings, even neighbors, darling dears. Something that happened within your community for some, darling dears. Maybe you felt shunned in a situation. Again, Uranus energy. You weren't meant to fit in a box. You are meant to make the box. Hey! So get to it, darling dears. The energy of the 4, the foundation, the manifestations that you're bringing in. Uranus tells me that you are extremely original, authentic, darling dears. You come with a certain je ne sais quoi. Again, the sudden change of the situation you find yourself in. Uranus usually takes about 7 years to travel through a zodiac sign. So this situation that is the culmination of things leading up from 7 years to this point. And it also shows what? The sudden change, the unpredictability, as well as the 11th house, money coming towards you over the next 7 years going forwards, darling dears. You also have the energy of the 9. This is the 9 is representative of Mars energy, about you taking action. So I'm going to bring in the letters. You could be a life path 9, as well as the letters I and R. Okay, Yeah, you're a humanitarian, but you've learned to be humanitarian around, because some people are just straight up reptiles, darling. There's reptiles. Yeah. T-Rexes with short arms, blood. Yeah. Okay, then. Tells me that you're extremely caregiving. You're a carer, or you could be a carer at this moment in time. It's also telling me that you have to take up some kind of sport. Look to see what's in your Virgo house, darling. Is on your natal chart as to what sport would be best aligned with you. Okay, you can get the book, the rulership book by Rex E. Bills, and it will show you what sports and stuff will be in that area. Okay, all right, carrying on. 6 and the 2, this is a karmic number, darling dear, so it's about debt. It's also about death and rebirth. Could possibly mean death, but I also strongly believe it's the rebirth of you, darling dears. Enlightenment. It's a highly occult house, darling dears. Your spiritual awakening. This is about you letting go of a persona, something that used to be you. Again, first house energy, darling dears. Owning your new outlook on life, the way you view life, how you're seen by others. Okay. Energy of Saturn. Have a look at your Saturn placements, because it will tell you what kind of a relationship you had with your main caregiver, your parents. Okay, all right. Saturn also remind you of Saturn on your birth natal chart. Whatever house the Saturn falls in, darling dears, if there's another planet in there, all the better. Why? Don't worry for nobody's karma, darling dears. Whatever's going on in your 8th house, darling dears, will tell you exactly what's going on in somebody's life. The 8th house, darling dears, the 8th house. They're getting karma. You'll see what kind of karma they're getting. If it's in the 1st house, it's something to do with their skin, their face. Yeah, accidents with knives, war, all of the above, darling dears. You don't have to wait on no one's karma. Just consult your birth natal chart. All right. Okay, where else are we going? The energy of the 4, darling dears. It's also telling me that you're about to assume some kind of leadership position, whether as an entrepreneur, some kind of business, in your school, your university, your job. Okay, the energy of the 4. Lean in, bestie. Lean in. You're going to be extremely successful. How about that? You've manifested a different way for you to live and be. Okay, the energy of the 4 is in the southeasterly direction. Okay, southeast. Oh my gosh, put my teeth back in. According to the Loshu grid, okay, this represents your prosperity. It represents wealth, and it also speaks about your self-esteem, darling dears. It's on the up and up. More confidence within yourself. Your power colors over the next few days will be purple, green and gold. And something about spring. Something is going to come into your life during the springtime, darling dears. Something that is going to be abundance. Remember, I told you that. Prosperity all the way. Okay. Right. The energy of the 3, the tongue wrestlers. What's the wrong with the tongue wrestlers? They won't give you, they got no chill or pause factor. Okay. The tongue wrestling in the back. Somebody feeling jeopardized by what you're building for yourself. Lots of discord. Yeah, something that you're going to have to be very diplomatic about. Yeah, you feel pissed off. Okay then. Yeah, as I said, you've been motivated to get great. What else have we got here? All right. Somebody's proper worried. Didn't I tell you they want to give you a thorough tongue lashing, a proper dressing down? They don't like how you're floating your boat, darling dears. Okay, and look, I can't make it up. The energy of the 8. Didn't I not just say this is because the 8 is a very spiritual number, darling dears. The energy of the 8. It speaks about your wounds, darling dears. Okay, something to do with someone that passed. You wasn't able to tell them exactly how you felt about them. Maybe this is why you're pissed off at this moment in time. Okay, no matter what, you still got to go ahead and get great, darling dear. Get great. Okay. The energy of the 8th house, darling dears, also speaks about investments. Maybe something coming towards you from an investment, because it's the house of marriage, the marriage house, the house of joint finances, legacies, insurance, your investments, retirement funds, all of that coming towards you, darling dears. Maybe something's going to pop off in the springtime, darling dears, or you're laying groundwork for the springtime. Okay, because we have the element of 2. The element of 2 says that any form of business deal is going to go fabulous, gorgeous and lovely. This is about helping people occurring along your path. Okay, business is going to go well. Any trips are going to go well, darling dears. Again, energy of the 3rd house. The 3rd house is short distance journeys that you're going to be taking, which are going to be of great benefit to you, darling dears. And the short distance journeys could also be via the internet. Okay. You're showing your intellect over the internet for some, darling dears, for some. Okay. Energy of the 8. Something really got you upset, darling dears. One more card and then we'll move on. Could be a fire sign, or you may be a fire sign, darling dears. The element of fire is obviously about spirit, darling dears. It's about your psychic abilities. And again, the fire energy speaks about your work, so your career is definitely involved in this, darling dears. You utilize spirit, or you use spirit, or you call on your ancestral team, darling dears, your security. You took a risk, darling dears. Call Archangel Michael at any time. Again, the fire energy represents the south, and I said something's coming in from the southeast, or you're going towards the southeast. Okay, not just in your area, darling dears. This could be worldwide travel. Okay. You've been extremely motivated, darling dears. Okay, it tells me that you're being protected, and it also speaks about the drive. The spirit animal for a fire sign is the lion, another big cat, darling dears. Somebody's definitely worried about what you've got going on. Energy of the 5 speaks about the foundation that you're building, someone feeling threatened. Energy of the 4 speaks about communication coming in, and again, 3rd house energy, darling dears. Yeah, they're very upset. Oh well. Right, let's press on. Let's press on. Oh, I went to pick it up and there's no elastic band around it, so definitely dropping something, darling. There's the rebirth of you, letting go of certain situations. The 8th house is also a very sexual house, darling dears. Fire sign. You could be meeting someone from a fire sign. These cards are having a laugh, aren't they? Let's do this again. Energy of the 8th house. I'm also hearing something about indiscretion. Someone stepping outside of their marital. Yeah, well, if it was, you've cleansed yourself of that shiznai. Water energy, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. Yeah, there was dark energy around you, darling dears. Dark energy does what? It's got low self-esteem, darling dears. No confidence in themselves. Just like a low value man or woman, they always need constant validation from someone else in order to feel good about themselves. Okay, but it's also what a cleansing, darling dears. Maybe you need to get by some water, body of water, and have a good dunk under the water, darling dears. Wash away what no longer serves you. 8th house, you'll be guided. You'll know. Yeah, the 8th house is also the house of karma as well as debt, darling dears. Could be spiritual debt or physical debt. Again, we're talking about the south node. Okay, Uranus energy. Yes, I think you're getting or offloading some kind of debt, darling dears. Masculine energy could also represent Father God, darling dears. Fire energy could also represent someone coming towards you. Security. You're building some level of security. Security could be from a new job, like I said. A rise up in your status, darling dear. Some kind of investment. It could be a joint finances. It could be insurance, your tax, retirement money and inheritance. But some level of security is coming towards you. Element of Uranus is going to be a surprise, darling dear. Shocking. Okay, because Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury, so that it embodies Mercury, the intelligence, but it's the want to be different, the freedom that you want, darling dears. Okay. Whatever you're doing, darling dears, for some, you're about to change social norms, darling dears. I told you, Uranus tells me that you are unique. And the way you do things, it's drawing a lot of attention, darling dears. As above, so below. Split the deck again. What did I just say? Prosperity is on its way. I'm a poet and didn't know it. Ha ha! Love it. I don't hate it. Let's press on. Let's press on to the decks. Okay, let's get a deck I haven't used in a while. Let me go with this one. Base of the deck, we've got Temperance, so you've balanced out your finances, your money. It speaks about being spiritually protected. When we see the Temperance, it also speaks about a secret admirer. For some, this person will be coming forward, darling dears, and people are what? Proper worried. People always see it before you do, darling dears. They see your greatness, they see your value, they see it, but they ignore it. And when they ignore it, too late is their cry, darling dears, once they get the buyer's remorse of whatever they bite into, darling dears. Let's give it a good shuffle. Let's see what else is going on. What's the current issue? What is the current issue? Hey, Skrilla.com, darling dears. Money is your issue. That's the best issue to have, darling dears. I love it. I don't hate it. Lean in, bestie. This is about your prosperity. We just saw it with the prosperity card from the witch. Is it the Witch's Wisdom Oracle deck? I think that's what it's called. Anyway, let's press on. Yeah, abundance, darling dears. It also speaks about your growth. Pentacles in the upright also speaks about your physical health, darling dears. Again, we had the first house. Maybe you're doing something about your physical health at this moment in time. Okay, it speaks about this fresh start. Somebody's also going to be purchasing some kind of land, some form of property, darling dears. Yeah, this is also my engagement card, darling dears. Again, we've got the masculine energy coming through. Could be male or female, darling dears, because you know gender is fluid in tarot. Definitely a gift to you at this moment in time, darling dears. Again, we go back to the element of the two. This is a gifted time for you, a fortunate time for you, darling dears. Everything flowing towards you. Okay, all right. Things are improving, darling dears. It speaks of inheritance. It speaks of offers, new opportunities. It speaks of you having all around good vibes, darling dears. So what's crossing it? World card, darling dears. Well, what's crossing it at this moment in time is situations from the past, darling dears. World card. This is Earth and Saturn energy, as well as the fixed signs of Leo, Taurus, Scorpio, and Aquarius, darling dears. I know, darling dears. I know. It's about being stable, wanting to sustain a situation. Somebody wants to sustain a situation. Could be because they see where you're going, darling dears, towards the bag. Tinky winky styly, being focused. Yeah. Okay, world card again speaks about people spying, possibly online. We mentioned siblings. It could also represent people in your community if they know how you get down, how you get your bread, darling. There's people are watching. They're watching you. Okay, me not ask nobody. Me I tell you. Okay, all right. The energy of the world card, darling dears, also speaks about a situation that's come to an end. Someone would like a fresh start in this situation. Yes, they're spying. They're looking at your accomplishments. You've definitely achieved something. Again, the energy of the 8 is the CEO of everything you survey. Okay. Someone who's having an emotional dilemma about you, darling dears. Yeah, this person would like to travel to you, or maybe they are being blocked at this moment from traveling to you. Why? Because you ain't focused on them, darling dears. You're focused on getting great, as I said, moving forward. Okay. Base of the deck, I couldn't help but look, dark. I couldn't help it. I tried to stop myself, but I couldn't. I simply couldn't. I know, darling dears. I know. The energy of the 7 of Wands, darling dears. This person is weak. Yeah, weak-minded and a simpleton to boot, darling dears. There is no stability around this person, no spiritual strength. This person is a gossip. And they're what? blame shifting and mean. They're weak-minded, feeble-minded, darling dears. And it also speaks of lacking in spiritual protection or any form of spiritual, moral or religious moral. They've got no boundaries, darling dears. It's all a go-go around them. And again, the ones in support in the upright, this is someone that supports you. If it comes in the place of a friendship, darling dears, this is no support, darling dears. And their mouth, listen, they was a shepherd of the devil. Let me tell you, darling dears. Weak-minded. Okay. Let's continue. Okay. So what happened in the past? What happened? What happened? What occurred? What happened in the past? Thank you. Good golly and gosh. We've got the High Priestess on her face, darling dears. Okay, High Priestess, moon energy. This is someone lacking their intuition or utilizing their intuition and discernment to what? Betray others, darling dears. It could also speak about a third party. This is mysterious energy I'm seeing here. Okay, third party could be anything, drugs, alcohol, or all of the above. We've got the energy of the moon, darling dears. The moon was very disillusioning in this situation. Okay, lacking clarity in the situation. This also speaks about in the past your judgment was clouded. Why? Because you didn't get the full truth of a situation for people that were around you. The High Priestess energy is very nurturing. It could be a female energy. You weren't getting no nurturing from that situation, darling dears. We've got King of Cups. You showed a lot of loyalty to a situation that wasn't for you. King of Cups is also someone reassessing and realigning. This is somebody getting great after the age. I'm getting after the age of 35. Going upwards, darling dears. Or you could be an old soul who's speculating and it's working for you. This is someone who's setting their own table, darling dears. Many people had to get up from that table, or you got up from the table. Yeah. But King of Cups is someone, you don't want them dead. You don't want them finished. You don't want them gone. Yes, we've got the 8th house energy here, but it's about you. Yeah, they can still eat, but not from your table. Yes, look at this. You're holding your head blood. Listen, they put you through some things. We've got Mars and Scorpio energy, darling dears. Mars is about being forceful. It thinks about war. It thinks about deception, abusive situations, darling dears, that you was in. Yeah, you looked at what was left behind, darling dears, but divine gave you what? The 8th house. Can't you see the divine light of something more expansive? This is about you seeking I just heard seeking the face of God. Listen, God, Yahweh, Jehovah, Jaja, whatever you call him, Muhammad, whatever, darling dears. You sought God in a situation. The cups again. You had to learn how to nurture yourself again. This was an extreme emotional lesson that you went through, darling dears. It also speaks about, again, 11th house. You ended a lot of relationships where there was a lack of love, where there was disappointment. You even had to put down things of bitterness. You had to let go of bitterness. You had to let go of sadness. You had to let go of loss, darling dears. But you still had the 2 of Cups. The 2 of Cups is what? A second chance. A second chance at life. But this second chance is based in what? Forgiveness, darling dears. Forgive them. You have to forgive a lot of people in a situation. I'm seeing a lot of friends separating again. Uranus energy is the 11th house. Aquarius energy, darling dears. Some people left family members behind, older siblings, adoptive people that you brought into your life, darling dears. And this wasn't, for some, this is still to this day is a culture shock. They didn't think you'd leave, but luck is on your side. Something to do with online business. Again, the electricity, darling dears. You're doing something online, 3rd house energy. You left a lot of people behind. Let me get another deck and see a bit deeper. Yeah, look. Five of Swords. The skulldugger straight out of what? Slithering from the crevice of the devil's balls, darling dears. Yeah, conflict and confusion. Tell me something more about the people you left behind, darling dears. Yeah, bad business deal, wrong investment. Yeah. It's like, because in the upright, it's like waiting for the right partner, and it's not just necessarily a partner within a relationship, right? High Priestess in the reverse, there was always disruption, darling dears. It's like they knew exactly how to hurt you, and they did it anyway. Yeah. Seven of Pentacles on its forehead, darling dears. Wrong partnerships all the way until you wised up. Yeah, past energy, darling dears. You wised up, and again, King of Cups, you're highly intuitive. You wised up. This is like you went on some kind of journey to discover your boundaries, to understand your beliefs, yeah, your values. You was tired of being in a comfort zone, darling dears, a comfort zone that was never beneficial to you. Base of the deck, darling dears, we've got the Justice. You had to bring justice into the situation. This is what went on in the past. You had a lot of shady people around you. I'm seeing men and women, so it's men and women that was around you at that time, darling dear. So you was hurt by them both. But you was energy of the 8th house. You was going to stay in that energy until you learned the lesson. The lesson of letting go in forgiveness, darling dears. Until you stepped into the energy of what? The builder. You are the builder. Life path 22. Okay. So you offloaded a whole boatload of people, yeah? A bit like that guy that sunk off. Where did he sink off? The coast of Sicily. He didn't just sink, darling dear. Someone sunk him, right? This is, well, it's my opinion. And his partner, his business partner, that he went through all of those lawsuits to prove that he weren't stealing. Yeah. Was it from HP or something like that? It was about 11 million for something that was worth 2 billion, and they was getting, not 11. They was getting two. It was worth 2 billion, but he asked for something like 11 billion for it, and he was freed of all of his charges. And then I think it's the day before he was taken out, his bestie was taken out a few days later, darling dears. In my Dr. Uma voice. You find this suspicious? Anyway, press on, press on. You made a lot of wrong choices, darling dears, until you understood that you had to let go of many people in your life. This is your second chance, darling dears. And again, electrical energy. Electrical energy is also associated with the heart. Your nervous system, darling dears. Something to do with your heart, your nervous system. It was creating a lot of skin disorders in your body, darling dears. Being around that energy. Because first house energy, darling dears. The sun. I'm looking at this and I saw it as the Pentacle, but it came across to me as the sun, and again first house energy, right? It's about your heart, your spinal cord, your thalamus. Yeah. Until you readjusted your crown, darling dears, and realized that you are she or he for whom the sun rises. Realize that you can create whatever life you want. Energy of Mars energy, darling dears, the first house. You took action, darling dears, and it took a lot of courage. But you did take action. You're an old soul, darling dears, and you are exactly where you need to be at this moment in time. So, where was we now? We was going to outside people's opinions. Because we've got siblings as well as older siblings, young and old siblings, family members. Right? Good golly and gosh, other people's opinions see you gone. Listen. Ooh, child. Yeah, spiritual energy. You have an air of spirituality around you, darling dears. Whether you are into spirituality or you're in the fishbowl, religion, whichever one it is, darling dears. They see something spiritual about you, these people in the past. Let's go to the tiny cards, because they're telling us the truth, Ruth. Yeah, what else do they see around you? All right. Look. 2 different decks. You're out of there. Skeet, skeet. 3 of Wands, 2 different decks, darling dears. Further compounding it, the 3, let's go with the energy of the 3. The 3 tells me that you're learning new things. It speaks about you possibly going into higher education, darling dears. It also tells me that your intellect, your lower mind, darling dears, you're utilizing it in a way, maybe learning new languages, looking to travel to foreign lands. It's about you, your thinking pattern, darling dears. And again, the 3rd house is about your early education. There's a lot of gossip around. Listen, they see you as gone, but the energy of the tree, yeah, they're chatting you, blood. They don't like you. They don't like nothing about you, blood. They don't even like your eyelashes. And I told you why. Because they're attached to you. Yeah. They want war. They want all the smoke with you, darling dears. But how can you smoke with somebody smoking, darling dears? And how can you have the smoke with someone, darling dears, and they're not even there? They're arguing at your back. So therefore, they're going into, they're grave diggers. They're digging up the past. Yes, yes, yes. I know, bestie. I know. Well, guess what? The energy of 2 threes on the tableau is telling me that you are utilizing the choices that you've made for yourself. It also speaks about you being more authentic. You've learned how to express yourself using your voice, darling dears. It also speaks about your speech, your writing, your communication is off the chain. Yeah, they're talking about that, darling dears. Sun energy. Sun energy is big cat Leo energy, the 5th house. Okay. They're bringing up drama from the past. And again, the 5th house is about romance. It's about dating. We had a lot of wands out here. So it's a lot of sexual energy. They want to know who you're dating at this moment in time. Yeah, they want to know everything. It's not like, listen, they're not asking for much, are they? Energy of the sun energy also speaks about you stepping out. Stepping out in the form of what? Being famous, darling dears. Or being known for what you are doing. Whatever that is. Yeah, lots of talk at your back, darling dears, from siblings, old and young, family members. As I said, drama, house of drama, digging up the past, mate. They're grave diggers. Yeah. This also speaks about when we see the energy of the ones, darling dears, 2 together, you've got the foresight. It speaks about your long-term views. Yeah. You're playing the long game, darling dears. It tells me that you're extremely confident at this moment in time. They don't like it. Yeah. We've also got with this, we've got new contacts again. 11th house. Other people coming in, darling dears. Whether you're joining a group, a forum, or you are the leader of the group. Maybe it's in the form of fans. People appreciating your work. Yeah. I know, darling dears. I know, because the 3 of Wands goes to what? 6 of Wands. This speaks about progress. It speaks about achievement, success, being triumphant, good news coming to you, darling dears. But it also speaks about what? 6 of Wands, a return of someone from the past. Yeah, a marauder. A time-traveling marauder. Okay. But also, again, 6 of Wands, this goes to what? Many admirers again. 11th house, fans, darling dears, fans, people that appreciate you. If you've got a channel, it could be subscribers, whatever it is, darling dears. But again, the money, the bag. They'd like to come back through, darling dears. And what's this? You're a big fat missed opportunity. 4 of Cups, mate. They need to think about you. Out there somewhere in the hemisphere, not around you. Yeah, they're talking. Oh, they are talking. Look! Ooh, child. Listen, this is why God hears conversations that you're not entitled to hear. Why? Because you'll be kicking and punching all day, darling dears. And what good would it do? It'd have you in prison with the prisoners, just like R. Kelly. What do you mean? They're chatting you, darling dears. We've got the 5 of Wands. This is Saturn energy. They're going in, darling dears. And they're talking about everything. And then they're speaking about your past, darling dears. Bringing up your childhood issues. Whatever was going on for you, darling dears. It's drama.com. You may even have been in a situation where you may have had some kind of affair. It was a risk. It was something that you shouldn't have gone into, darling dears. They're bringing up everything. They're bringing up everything, darling dears. I told you, they're grave robbers. Grave robbers. Bringing up everything. But it don't matter what they talk about, darling dears. The proof is in the pudding you're going towards. I love it. I don't hate it. The Palace of Pentacles, darling dear. The Pentacles, darling dear. Being stable, building a secure foundation for yourself. And again, it goes back to the energy of the 4. You're creating this. People thought you was having a laugh. The dormouse says, yeah, people thought you was just doing mundane things, not really getting up to anything great. You was doing fabulous, gorgeous, and lovely, darling. Just the 3rd house. You in order to get over a lot of karmic debt, energy of the 8th house, for you to be reborn. You dealt with a lot, darling dears, and I can tell you today when I'm making this video, I'm feeling the energy of the karmic energy trying to bubble up, darling dears, but you have to be wise. Be wise. Pentacles is, I ain't checking for no one, I ain't checking for me. But like, I love it. I don't hate it. You are on track, darling dears, to be the king or queen of your castle. Remember, I told you that. The energy of the frog, darling dears, speaks about moody, but frogs also... Leading again, bestie. Leading again. Yeah, because the energy of the frog, darling dears, you can barely see it, darling dears. Look. Can you see it? It's telling you that the pathway that you're on, darling dears, is being cleared just for you, right? For whatever changes that you've made, darling dears, right? That previously seemed unachievable. Well, guess what? Listen. Abundance comes in many forms, darling dears. And if you had to make space in your life, release a lot of people, the space is open for new to come into your life, darling dears. You've got the Ace of Pentacles in the upright. You're building a stable foundation. And remember, it's something that you do online. Spiritually guided, darling dears. Spiritually guided. Okay. This new pathway that's opening up for you. Previously thought it was unattainable. But you have to remember, when you make plans, darling dears, God is laughing. And sometimes he's laughing because you don't realize how much is going to be gifted to you because you are in service of others. And you're not forced to do this, darling dears. The Fool is someone who is light-hearted, moving away from a situation. New beginning, darling dears. Badassery, the magician energy. You have what it takes to create whatever you want. You've already passed that final exam. This is why you're being blessed, darling dears. Because you're choosing to be of service. Yeah, so they're arguing in the background, darling dears. Yeah, these hood-looking alfalfas with yarn for hair. They sowed all of this injustice and calamity. Yeah, and they're getting exactly what they sowed, darling dears. What's that? No rest for the wicked. Isaiah 48:22. No rest, darling dears. Okay, let's press on. Let's press on. Your wants and needs at this moment in time as you're going towards greatness, darling, is this fresh new beginning. Some of it may involve worldwide travel. Listen, Aquarius energy, all of your wants and needs are going to be taken care of, darling dears. They're going to be met. Energy of the 11th house is other people's money coming towards you, darling dears. It could also represent some kind of benefactor coming out of nowhere. Yeah, possibly to support whatever you got going on. Listen, when God is ready to bless you, darling dears, remember I told you that the energy of the 4 is about your wealth, your prosperity, but it's also about your self-worth, as well as healing. You've healed from some kind of a situation, darling dears. Okay. Yeah, 100%, darling dears. 100%. This is good prospects, darling dears. Your dreams are about to be fulfilled beyond what you expected. There's a lot of jealousy around you, but hey ho, it is what it is, darling dears. If you're not doing something good and no one's jealous, there's something wrong, blood. You need to step it up, guys, and get some more haters. They're so motivating, darling dears. But this has been about your spiritual growth. Again, Uranus energy. This has been a hard journey for you, darling dears, because there was a lot of people you had to put down. And this is all South Node energy, releasing what no longer serves you, going towards your greatest life. Enlightenment and healing, darling dears. And divine is telling you to continue to what? Trust the process. Trust in the process. Base of the deck, darling dears. Yes. Why? Oh my God. Oh my God. Do you want to see? Or should I show you? No, I'm not going to show you. Should I show you? Should I show you? 10 of Wands. Putting down the burdens. And again, the energy of the Wands, karmic energy that you're releasing, darling dears, because it's not your portion. It's not. We've got Saturn and Jupiter energy because it was a blessing blocker. The energy of the star card also speaks about stepping into fame, darling dears, because you're free. Whatever you put down, darling dears, you are free. So with your wants and your wishes, darling dears, everything is being set up for you. Remember, I told you that. Okay. Final outcome or final message. Let's go to a different deck for the final message. Which one? I'm gonna go. Can I find it? We'll go with the life lesson deck. Yeah, keeping your circle tight and right, darling dear, so you can see what's going on. Let's move all these cards out of the way. Oh my gosh, look. What's looking at the top of the deck? Neptune in Pisces, darling dears, hidden enemies. And it's also about things that were kept secret. It takes 14 years to move through, darling dears. Okay, 14 years. We just said the 7 coming towards you and 7 going on. Okay, something to do with 14 years. Was you involved with these people for 14 years, or it took that long for you to leave the situation? Love and light, darling dears. That's 2 of these and 1 of those for anybody wanting to come back. That's first thing. Ooh, child. Final message from the big cat. Did we already have one out? Yeah, continue to practice, darling dears, because practice makes perfect. And it also reminds me of what the Piper. You build it as the builder and they will come. Keep practicing, darling dears. Practice regularly, because it takes 10,000 hours for you to become an expert in your field. Yeah, and travel is definitely involved, darling dears. And it's not necessarily you getting on a plane, train or boat or whatever, darling dears. Travel over the internet. This is your season. Split the deck. And an environmentalist, or you need to go outside, darling dears. You're an earth angel who was born to protect, nurture and teach about nature and the animals, darling dears. Maybe you have to teach some of them animals. What are they? Lying cheaters and asses, right? Show them that you are ibex. And anything that was brought to bring you down, it was all part of your mission. So continue to get great, darling dears. Continue to get great. On that note, I drops me mic. So upload to my Teesprings, my Patreon, or my TikToks, where I also upload videos. And as I always say, don't get smoked. And don't smoke yourself. From the ashes, baby. Namaste. Big cat wave. Until we meet again on these tarot streets. Cat, cat. Cat. You're dropping all of them soul ties, darling dears. And remember, we release them in love and light. We don't lock and buy them because we're not going in for the spiritual ping pong. We release them with love and light to the Most High. Let them be with God, darling dears. Fist bump. Make a wave.